Welcome to the Dad Level Podcast, episode 11. This week we're going to be talking and discussing about collecting, the ins and outs and the ups and downs. This week I'm joined by my brother Josh, my father Vince, and Brian, one of our good friends, family friends, who's an artist. So we kind of just want to go into some of the struggles of what's been going on with the toy community, and us being collectors, trying to find the things we would like to have in our collections, even stuff that we want for our kids. It's been difficult. Yeah. So let's start off with what got us into collecting.
Well, it's funny you ask what, because I was out of collecting for many years. When I got into becoming an artist, started working on the other side of fandom, I stopped collecting completely. No comics. The only thing I collected was art. And then my stroke, when I had my first stroke in 2018, my wife bought me a Devastator to help my hand, to help me start working my hand again. And because I couldn't use my left hand at all. And one Devastator turned into
Generations, or do you want
the Generations? No, yeah, the big one.
Yeah, I got the. She bought me the Zeta.
Oh,
yeah. My wife went big time.
Yeah,
so she bought me the Zeta, and then so I had the Zeta, and then she bought me the MP1 Optimus Prime, and then it just started. I started like, ooh, I had to have this one. I have one. Now I have boxes upstairs, I rotate my collection in and out my desk. It's, man, I recently just picked up the MP21 hot rod to go with my Rodimus Prime collection, and I just got me the Zeta Toy Pioneer, which is the Bumblebee from the movie, and a cliff jumper. So it's like I started collecting out of wanting to rehab my hand and my eyes, my hand-eye coordination, and my brain, and I just fell in love with this whole thing again. And so I'm like, I didn't realize how much collecting meant to me at such an older age.
Dad, Josh, where do you want to start with that one?
I'll let Josh go.
I'll let you go.
Oh, because I talk too much. Go ahead.
No, really?
Like you wouldn't know that.
You've been collecting longer than me, so you might as well go.
I didn't really start out as a collector except for comics. But I played, as a kid. We had the Migos when I was growing up. So we had like the almost articulate, exactly. Those heroes. Yep. I had Planet of the Apes. I had Space 1999.
You can make all kinds of movies and scenes and whatever you could with those, and that was what was cool about those.
Yeah, and then
the first company had the multi-license.
I loved the Star Trek ones. I even had the Bridge of the Enterprise and all the other things, and I had to do chores in the neighborhood, mowing lawns and stuff and around the house so that I would get enough allowance to go buy them. One thing back then is you could afford that. You couldn't do that now as a kid. You couldn't go mow a couple of lawns and go pick up and be a collector. That's just you can't afford it.
You can't do 1 yard and go buy eight comic books anymore.
No.
Yeah,
you're lucky to get one.
You can't go for a day and make $20 and then go to the store and go buy 2-3 action figures and be like,
yeah.
No, and it's funny that I was one of those kids who I had like the Lone Ranger figures that they came out with the horse and they were all articulate clothing, and the rifle actually had like a little lever action, and we would set up and do scenarios. Me and my brothers, we would actually act out almost like movies in the whole floor. We take up the floor in our bedroom. And I remember one time I had some M80s that I cut open, and found out that they looked like little sticks of dynamite on the inside of the more rounded paper. So I was like, we'll do a bank robbery scene. So I had the whole Butch Cavendish robs the bank toy set. And so we're in there, and we've got like the Cavendish. My brother Gene was playing with Cavendish and his gang, and I had Tano and Lone Ranger, and we're riding to the town, and Mike is playing the guys who worked in the bank, and so we tie three of those together, not realizing exactly what we were about to do, and we put it on the vault because the vault had a lever, and you open it, it was kind of thick, and we lit it. And we were like, and then throughout the entire house, there's just like, bam! And my mom comes flying in there. What have y'all done? And the vault is blown up. It's bent, melted plastic. There's burnt little, because it came with little bitty pieces of paper and like these fake stacks of gold, and that's all destroyed. And my brother, without missing a beat, turns to me and goes, I think you used a little bit too much dynamite there, Butch. And you know that's from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, because that's how we played.
So
but
who else is really happy that this is going on YouTube? That is awesome. This is YouTube gold. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I was one of those kids that after we were through playing it,
Yeah.
we would meticulously put it up. I wanted everything in a box, so I wanted to keep it. I did the same thing with all my other ones. And then when Star Wars came out, man, that
changed the game.
Yep.
When I was a kid, I had the Migos. We had the Star Wars, the Buck Rogers, and the Star Trek Migos, and we had to get to play with all of them at the same time. Like that's the only time you can play with all three brands
at
the same
time. Yep.
You can play with all three brands at the same time and make your own stories.
Well, it was like, back then too, you had the crossover with Scooby-Doo and like the Super Friends and all this other stuff, or always like the crossover cartoons with everything. So it just felt right that, Kirk and Spock happened to be visiting Bruce Wayne in the 60s.
Well, it's like the best thing about our childhood is that back then we had the best toy concepts, but now these days they've taken these concepts and they've made them even better. Like I remember, if y'all remember the original G1 Hupper figure, I got the new one.
The new one, yeah.
They got this new one the other day, and I was like, it's so beautiful. It gives the original idea of Hupper.
It's so beautiful, you don't want to open it.
Yeah, I'm getting my second one in from Big Bad Toy Store.
Yeah, I'm waiting on mine.
And that'll take you 2 weeks. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Well,
that's when
it just shipped.
That's just to get it in the box.
I get a pile. I put everything in a pile of loot, and I said, when I get 10 figures, I ship them at one time.
Oh yeah, but it always takes them 2 years just for them to send it, to pack it in the box, and then it takes another year for them to actually send it. Then when it gets there, it's like, oh cool, it's actually at the house. But the whole process is just like, wow, really.
Well, the funny thing is that with Big Bad, it's like, as much as we complain, there's still a good source for us trying to look for things that we need at a reasonable price.
Well, that's because there's no toy stores. Okay, back in the day,
they were toy stores.
Winco. Well, not only those, but you had Wilco, Winco. You had Sears, which had a massive toy section.
TG&Y.
Yes.
Kmart.
Venture, which I have a story for Venture.
Yeah, I remember when Venture came in.
Going back to the $20 real quick, like how we back when we were younger. Now my dad can contest to this. So Venture was closing down, and I wanted to get some stuff. And at that time, Batman Robin was out, and I had already gotten, I don't know, let's say Freeze, and I don't know, somebody else said, look, I want to go in there and go get some stuff. He goes, here's $20. Go get you what you want. Bring me back the change. Okay. First off, anybody knows me, I'm a big smart ass. Okay. I remember going in there. I got 5 figures because they were discounted because they're closing down. And I swear to God, it came up perfectly. The total was $19.99. I had the penny, I had the receipt. My dad was waiting for me out in the truck. I come walking out. He goes, where's my change? I hand him the penny. He goes, you gotta be shitting me. You guys know my dad. And I held the receipt, and he goes, son of a bitch. And he took the receipt. He goes, I'm gonna frame this in my office. He goes, I'll never do this again. And yeah, I got like 5 figures for $19.99. And it was the funniest thing ever. And that was at Venture before they closed down. And they used to have a big toy selection.
Yeah.
Because and then you can find stuff there because nobody ever, no kids really went there. Only the parents went there for home goods and clothes and all that.
Well, that Venture used to be Target, didn't it, Dad?
Yeah.
Um,
And what's funny is that now Ross and some of these other stores have replaced all of that.
Yeah.
If you can
Ross-
get out.
Ross is stupid, though.
Yeah.
And
If you
unless
can get
know
to.
somebody,
Yeah.
yeah,
You have to
can
get
use
there
it.
at the right time.
Yeah.
Luck out or somebody knows somebody.
Yeah.
just don't go on a road trip like me and Vince did.
Yeah.
Going all over to all these Rosses and get nothing.
Well, we got a few, but not as much as we thought we would.
Oh yeah.
Or when we went to do the 25th the 5th was it 35th Sky Striker came out? Was it?
Oh, the 35th.
Yeah, and then we
Oh
went
no, we
to
went to HEB.
yeah, because
that was
HEB was like clearing it out for like $25 or so or $19, and we're like,
Yeah,
heck
one
yeah!
time.
So
I had
think-
7 in the box just sitting there.
No, you can't get on. You can't go on screen. Go.
but no,
Scarlet, my cat likes to walk in front of the screen.
I think for me, one of the things that got me into collecting, and this will give Josh a little time, was of course growing up in my household. I mean, Dad had toys and all this stuff, and he showed me the love. I mean, I have stories.
You couldn't play with his toys, but you had your own.
Yes,
I had to get him
Oh.
his. Yeah, so whenever I bought something, there was 2 of them, one
Two
for
of
me
them.
and one for him.
But,
I can't even do that now with
that,
Edward.
This is where Vince gets it from. He'll be like, "Oh yeah, I was there. I was at the store, and look what I found." Oh, sorry, they only had one.
We had one.
Like now we know where he gets it from. Hey, Dad, did you find me a Skeletor? No, son. They only had one.
Well, but I would always find it for him, but hey, I was the one working. No, I'm joking. He had plenty. He had all of the original.
Yeah, I did.
Oh no! Wait! Let's not talk about that. That's a bad story. Bad story.
Well, we're gonna have to talk about this, but but we'll get to it in a minute. It'll be a whole subject on its own.
See, me and your dad have an advantage for you young guys. And now as grandfathers, we can say we're buying one for us and buying one for our grandchildren.
Grandkids.
Yeah.
That's how I do it now. Like I'm buying one for me and my grandson.
I
Well,
think
and
it's more like buy 2 for you and 1 for your grandkid.
And when my son got older and was making money, it became really hard to buy for him for Christmas because I would go, okay, I know he really wants this. And then later on, he'd go, hey, Dad, look what I bought. And I'd be like, I can't tell him I bought that. So then I have to go get it, go trade it back in, and then try to find something he hasn't bought for himself.
He's lucky if you find the receipt sometimes.
Yeah.
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 And then he's like, well, I got trade bait.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like, we all get together. Man, I wish I had that Optimus Prime. Your luck, I got an extra one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people got my extras as Christmas presents.
Yeah,
It's true.
You received some of those.
maybe.
Yeah. We had to go to, I wanted the big, remember it was the 50th anniversary? Which anniversary was it of Optimus Prime? The big one that we just couldn't find, the 30th. We couldn't find in Houston. I wanted it. And then I had to drive all the way to Arkansas. We had to drive all the way to Arkansas.
You're talking about, MP1. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That was hilarious.
It was before the MP1. It was before the MP1.
You talking about the Toys R Us one?
Masterpiece. Yeah, the one that had its own little cylinder.
Yeah. 25th anniversary.
So it was
25th. Yeah.
So I went to go pick up Josh and bring him back home from Arkansas. And so we happened to stop in this Walmart. And I was like, well, let's just go see what they got, because this is out of the way. These little stores and these little rinky-dink towns are just out of the way. Collectors don't always get to them. Now they might have somebody who works there who ships them stuff and buys it. And we walked in and we were walking through, and there was this giant end cap, and it went and it glowed, and they had just.
I mean, it had to have been like 200 Optimus Primes.
200 Optimus Primes, all stacked at $20 a And I was like,
Yeah.
That's a
I
gold
wished I
mine
had
now.
a couple of $100. I would have bought more and brought them back to Houston. We were trying to figure out what was it, because I found out that some of these stores become the like if something doesn't sell at the other stores,
Yeah, the
they get
clearance
dumped
hub.
in the clearance hub, and that must have been what that was. But I was like, there's nothing around here. Why would you ship it here? If
Yeah.
that went to Houston, they would have
They'd be
never.
gone.
They would have gone in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know the guys at the bottom too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Past 5 years, collecting has become something a lot more mainstream than it was then.
But it's a double-edged sword. Without it being in stores, children and young people who are the ones that you want to build that brand
Yeah.
loyalty can't afford it.
Yeah.
You can't go pay $170 and hand a child that toy.
So now we're talking about that. How do y'all feel about these manufacturers making these figures for adults? Because like Hasbro just announced the Ark, which is going for $160.
I wanted it, but I can't afford it.
I ordered one. Remember, I
Me too.
ordered two. Ordered two. Because
That's
it's
what I'd like to do.
You can afford it. There's ways to afford it now.
but a
have-
kid can't go out and
can't.
say can't go out and say,
No,
hey,
it can't. But then again, how many kids actually play with toys anymore?
my daughter,
my
My son.
my
Right.
grandchildren.
my daughter,
Yeah, true.
my
Outside
daughter.
of your family.
What's funny,
I-
my 13-year-old daughter wants an Ark. I'm like, why do you want Ark? She goes, Transformers are cool. I'm like, what do you mean Transformers are cool? She goes, they're cool. She goes, they turn into stuff. I'm like, well, yeah. She goes, I see the appeal. She goes, but I can't afford it all the time. She goes, here I am a kid. She goes, I want that, but I can't. That's $160, Dad. Should we buy it for me? I'm like, yeah, if you want it, yeah.
Well, do you remember when we're on this? Do you remember when the Japanese released a transforming Optimus Prime back in
Yeah.
the day? And I bought it. It was like $49.90 something, so $50. They're doing it again. So now there's one that walks, transforms.
$700.
Yeah, and I was like, there's a difference between $59 for something that did something very similar. It didn't
Yeah, little
walk.
gimmick. Yeah, that was the Armada Optimus Prime.
I have you like this. I am not going to pay money to buy a Terminator from my house to come kill me. That thing looks like it's breathing. It's AI. It's going to get smarter. It's going to tell you to kiss its ass.
I saw
Gonna come-
Chucky, the new
I
one,
saw,
the remake.
I saw
This
Small
thing is set to
Soldiers.
evil.
I've seen Terminator. I know what's going to happen.
Well, remember
Skynet-
Small Soldiers when
Oh,
they
gosh,
actually
yes.
put the military
Yes.
chips in the
Exactly.
toys?
So it's like, I'll be honest with you. I think it's cool looking, but it's not $700 worth of cool. I mean, I'm not gonna pay $600 for a Unicron who doesn't move and pay an extra $7 for a transforming Optimus Prime that walks.
I wouldn't be talking too much shit. There's a Prime right behind you. He might jump you.
Oh yeah. You're
What?
Optimus Prime on the wall.
Yeah, there's Prime.
Yeah,
is
don't
right
talk
behind
bad
you.
about
Oh.
Prime. He may come to life in the
Yeah,
Toy
there's some
Story.
bitch right there. Yeah.
Well, and
I got my Primes right here. There's my PS5. I got my Jetfire back here. My Jetfire, my all kinds of shit.
well,
So,
and hold on. I was going to say.
well, think about what
the-
you're gonna say.
Oh, I've got it. The Iron Man one you sent me. You showed me the image
Yes.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite. It's the classic Iron Man. Other than the 3.75s, and maybe one of the legends have ever did that figure. I'd love to have that figure. It's $280 something. Or what? No,
Yeah.
it was it was about.
It was almost
Is it a hot-
$300.
Is it a hot
And if-
toy
I don't know if it's hot toy or not. I have to look it up. Give me a
or
second.
a sideshow?
What? I was.
It is
No, what was it? What was it again? Remind me.
It's the classic
yeah,
Iron Man.
it's Hot Toys. Yeah, it's Hot Toys.
Oh, the one
And
that
now-
just came out.
$400.
Yeah, the one.
Well, it's on
yeah.
pre-order right now.
Yeah,
It's
that's
$400.
That's what you're talking about. Something different, but than the plastic. Like the main what you're gonna get from Hasbro, where it's all molded plastic. Hot Toys creates their outfits, creates every meticulous detail.
For details.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of love that go into each figure.
Yeah, there is. I mean, you're
Well-
getting quality when you get Hot Toys.
Yeah, you do. You get a lot
Yeah.
of quality. Now we've all seen the production value from Hasbro. I haven't put my hands on the Unicron, but do you really think it's going to be engineered even better than what they're doing at a smaller scale? Is it worth $600? I personally don't think so. But would I pay $300 for a hot toy? Yeah. You're looking at sculpt. You're looking at overall quality. You're looking at value. Will it go up? Hell yeah, it will.
Oh, I know, but I quit collecting for value. Just the day I started opening some of my boxes, because I told my son, it just felt funny having boxes displayed.
Yeah,
When I wanted to open them up and I wanted to mess with them, because I went from playing with them to just keep them all boxed up and never touching them. And then when I had my shop and I was an avid collector, I had when I used to go shop, I would buy 2 of everything. Then I would sell one that would cover the cost of both. So then I paid nothing for my figures.
Scalper.
And so I would
Scalper.
I sold them in my I sold them in my stores.
So you're a professional scalper.
Well, yeah. If you're gonna say that way, everybody's a scalper. You want a new heart?
I'm not.
Only cost you 50.
Okay,
100.
so here's the thing I was going to bring up. For one, you look at, and just to bring on the Unicron, you can do that, or you can buy the studio cell version of it,
where 350. Yeah,
where all of the panel work actually folds into the figure and then
Yeah.
it hides everything instead of him being a panel former.
But then again, you got to think about it this way. Also, well, just real quick, if you're gonna get that hot toy, you're probably a hot toy collector too.
yeah.
True,
Probably,
or it's a one-off
lot of
thing.
people-
You don't buy just one. Hot toys are addictive.
yeah.
When you buy one, it goes to
I know.
another.
Oh yeah, I used to have a
Yeah.
good collection of them.
Yeah, credit
I-
card companies love
I have-
y'all.
That is the reason I have never.
have one left.
That's
I
the
have
reason
one
I've
hot
never.
toy left.
That's the reason I've never bought a hot toy. I don't want to become addicted to them.
I got
See,
a Dirt Draven and the Crow. That's my last one that I kept. I sold it.
Okay, damn. Now I want that one. Damn.
I have
Damn
I
it.
mean, it goes with my poster. I mean, it's an autographed poster
Yeah.
that I got by James O'Barr, which was awesome. But
yes, there's a lot of toys that are for adult collectors, and then as far as like hot toys, I only have one. I have the Naked Snake from Snake Eater, but there's the new Spider-Man.
The homecoming one.
they're trying to do a petition to have a second run for the Unicron.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Really?
We were just talking about it, and there it is.
Well,
that just happened. On
that just
that
happened to
note,
me and
here we
Dad.
go. Yep.
And I'll get into that too. But one of the things I think that's different about back then versus now is that back then, you would create a mold, you would do your process for everything, your marketing, maybe creating a cartoon for it, and you would mass produce this stuff, so it was cheap. You could sell it at a cheap because you're buying, once you create the mold, that costs the most, and then you're going to make X amount of figures to produce to all these different toy stores for the market for kids or anybody to buy. So things were a little bit cheaper. Now it's like, Zeta Toys and stuff. It's like they hit a real niche market, that collector format, same with Hot Toys or
And they keep
Sideshow
their runs
Collectibles.
low.
They keep their runs low, which unfortunately goes into the whole aftermarket process because, if you, with these higher end collectibles, you run the risk of you oversaturate the market. There's going to be product that's just going to sit on the shelf and people aren't going to buy it. But if you do that, you could sell it cheaper and actually have more people buy it. So it's a trade-off. It depends on what you're trying to do. But you look at Hasbro, going back to that, had they mass produced like the Arc and they're still working on now, but Omega Supreme, Scorpionox, Fort Max, had more of these out in the market for kids to be able to buy, you could charge less for it. I remember a toy like that, at least 10 years ago would have been, maybe $75 to $100. And now that as time's gone on, it's increased in budget, and the plastic's exactly the same. Maybe the articulation is a little better, the details a little bit better, but
I think the cost of living is also going up too. So they're
Yeah.
gonna focus on that as much as they can.
Yeah, but they
the more
profit.
people
Don't kid yourself and think that they don't make a massive profit.
Yeah,
off
I mean,
of it.
but the thing is that if the more you get more appeal for the standard consumer, if you mass market this stuff, and that way, you think about like the 25th line versus like the Rise of Cobra and the second movie, Retaliation.
Yeah.
The Retaliation figures were better, a lot better than the Rise of Cobra.
Yeah.
Those figures were garbage. And this goes to the whole topic too. We'll get into that in a minute. But the new figures, the new line for the new movie, they look just like the Rise of Cobra figures. I'm like, I didn't want to buy them when they're at 3.5 just because they had the G.I. Joe name on them. They didn't have stands. The sculpts were horrible. I'd rather get the 25th stuff or the 30th.
I'll keep saying it.
Huh?
Well, I'm going to be honest. Out of the new line that's coming out, the only two I like is Scarlet and Storm Shadow.
That's it.
That's it. I don't care for it.
The Snake Eyes look like crap.
I don't even know what they're trying for with Snake Eyes. It's so generic now that it looks like anything you could see in a video.
Well, yeah, that's my thing too.
White. He looks like somebody peed on him.
Well, yeah, he has this pearl.
He's not
color.
completely white. He is like got white. He's got a tan. And the way you turn it in the light, you see more details.
He looks like an old Storm Shadow B1 that's been out in the sun too long.
Yeah.
The Baroness is horrible.
Oh God,
that's so awful.
And
I like the glasses that could come off. That's kind of cool. Everybody was complaining about the last one, like, oh, the glasses don't come off.
But look at the face sculpt. They keep saying that Larry Hama approved of this thing. How does Larry Hama approve of these characters, this casting? I'm sorry, it looks like crap. They've said that about the whole movie, and I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't
because either. There's no way.
Snake Eyes was a gaijin.
Yeah.
And how in the world did they?
He'll do anything.
Well, I guess so. But
remember, think about like James Cameron saying that, "Oh, I approved the Dark Fate, and it was a garbage movie," and he goes like he threw up his hands, like, "Oh well, it was a bad movie."
I mean, okay, this is what it is. He's like, "No, I'm not going to start off for this. No, I do not approve of it. I don't approve. Here's your bag of money, sir." Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the commercial where
money talk.
I'm
not saying he would sell out, but anybody's willing to sell out.
When I heard that Henry Golden was cast as Snake Eyes, like, he's a young, hot Asian actor. He's good looking. There's no way they're gonna cover his face up. And if people told me, no, they're gonna cover his face up, that's not Snake Eyes. They remove his mask. It's not Snake Eyes. I'm like, you're right, it's not. I said, but he's too good looking of a guy to keep his face covered by a mask.
Stallone with Judge Dredd.
And I just watched Dredd again last night, and I love that movie. It is a ripoff of the one where the Asian film, the Raid.
Yeah.
But he kept that mask on through the entire movie. Urban kept that mask on through the entire movie.
Urban is Dredd. Yeah. Urban is Dredd.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like I said, Henry Golden, I knew when they cast him on, like, he's gonna take his mask off. Sure enough, they revealed it in the action figure. His mask comes off.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're not supposed to see his face. That's the mystery of Snake Eyes.
Well, this is supposed to be an origin film, and then it was like, we're gonna cast Snake Eyes as an Asian actor because he's a ninja. Do you know any of the source material?
Hey, you know what though? You know what?
They didn't origin him in the first and the second one. They showed
and that was awful too. I hated that whole thing of like he was an orphan, happened to be there, and he was already mute. it totally takes away the thing that's made Snake Eyes. You know, the fact
The
that
vows, the vows.
he was a hero.
Yeah.
The sacrifice that he went through.
Yeah, because it was the
explosion.
Vietnam story, the explosion with the helicopter, and then later they paid to fix his body and stuff, and only for Baroness to mess him over again and then scorch his vocal cords, so he couldn't talk now if he wanted to.
Yeah, but
in my opinion, something as a collector, I think this is a money grab, a cash grab to just say, guess what? We give you options. You can buy two. Just play both of them. This is all about money. This is not about collecting. To me, collecting is like this. When you have the new Obi-Wan Kenobi come out, but yet you have the 50th
Yes.
anniversary come out
Yep.
in the old mold. This is so beautiful. If you don't have this figure, dude, get it. It's so beautiful. That's collecting. That has respect for your fan base.
Yeah, I mean,
real quick before now since they made Snake Eyes, well, he's actually the actor is actually Malaysian,
yeah.
British, but they should have just poked at everybody. All right, well, we're going to make Storm Shadow Caucasian. If it's okay to change his origin, change his origin.
Well, if you want to play around with expectations, that's cool.
Yeah,
they could have made Storm Shadow a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
What's kind of sad is that when I sold all my GI Joes to a friend of mine, a buddy who is ex-military, and he is the biggest GI Joe fan I had ever met, and he
Especially at the
paid
time.
me, and he paid me a good price, but I kept my favorite 5 figures, and as time has gone on, I've bought new ones to replace the ones I've sold, but only those that were the sculpts were better. There was a reason for me to pick up the new one.
You mean modern, not vintage?
Yeah, modern.
No, yeah,
You sold your vintage.
Modern versions of the vintage characters.
Modern.
Yes, yeah. I sold my vintage GI Joes.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
that way the fans or crowd knows what the hell you're talking about.
But like I said, I kept my favorites, and I'm not going to go through my list of ones I kept, but I know you know who they are.
Well, Josh, go ahead and guess what they are.
B2 Storm Shadow, probably Outback, Tunnel Rat, Snake Eyes, Cobra Commander.
You don't know me as well as you thought.
I only saw the V2 Storm Shadow. I did. That's the only one I remember finding. And I was trying to take it from you.
I have Quick Kick, which I've always loved. Quick Kick. I have
Bruce.
Bruce. Yeah. I actually thought he was more like not Jet Li. Jackie Chan than Bruce. I have.
When I discovered Jackie Chan, I thought the same thing. But before I discovered who Jackie Chan was, I was in my eyes it was Bruce Lee. Hey Josh, where did you find that reissue for Unicron?
On my Transformers group.
It's probably the Transformers PX. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you send me a link to that?
I'll just add you if you want.
Yeah, well, he can tag you.
Yeah.
Because I need to do the same thing so I can sign up for edition. I mean, it's not one of those things that I would like give up on the fact that if I could have the opportunity to pick it up, I would.
Yeah.
But
now that I'm getting my Social Security from the Social Security and my VA, I'm gonna buy it now.
Well, that's the reason why I'm really particular about what I collect is because I'm on fixed income.
Yeah.
And my medication keeps going up. So you have to at some point in your life choose between what keeps you alive and what you enjoy,
versus the plastic crack.
Say earlier, so I said, yeah, you can't. When I wasn't being a smartass when I said you can afford high-end collectibles because of like Klarna and some of these other pages. Because that's what's been helping me find a lot of stuff because I don't have. But for the They Live set that me and Vince got, he reminded me about it, and I'm like, oh crap, it's gonna be too late if I don't get it. It was $120 like shipped and all that.
Yeah, with the special edition for They Live with the blue 4K and Frank.
Well, I have always gone out and hunted for stuff for people, and I'll call.
Yeah.
You had
and
to
say,
order
hey, I
it.
have this, call me. And then sometimes you don't hear from them, and you can't just stand around waiting in the store. And I've
Yeah.
been burned because you buy it,
Uh,
you go home, hey, they go, you go, I found this for you. Oh, I already got it. Or no, I've got it pre-ordered. And it's like, it's not like it used to be. With online, you can find pretty much what you want. Now there's still people who go out and shop and will go, hey, I'm going to this stores and tell me what you need to look for. I love that.
So
Uh,
I have a question for you, gentlemen. So we're all dads. We're dads that collect. Do y'all have when y'all collect, y'all buy just to buy because it's part of that line, or you'll have certain pieces you have to have for your collection, and your collection is complete.
with Transformers, it's to complete the collection, and it's
Like
only
like
certain lines that I look
Mike,
for.
do you want to have every Transformer? Like me, I want to have everything from the original animated movie.
That's me. Or from the original TV show. I look for
Yeah,
stuff from the
G1.
show. Yeah, Generation. And I loved Beast Wars, so there are certain
Yeah,
figures from Beast
I
Wars.
was never a Beast Wars fan, but I'll get stuff from G1 that's modernized, and I'll get stuff from the original movie. I'll get stuff like that, and I'll say that's when the Dinobots come out from the '86 line, my collection will be complete. When I get my Galvatron and my Scourge and that kind of stuff, when I get those certain pieces, my collection is complete.
I'm a Beast Wars fan. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you.
No, go
There
ahead.
was a
Go ahead.
pause. I jumped in.
Go ahead.
Now, what's gonna provoke me to jump into the Beast Wars line? I do love Beast Wars. Remember watching it when I was younger. Had all the toys, and I gave them to my brother. If they whenever they decide to make Tigertron, if they do, that's probably what's going to provoke me because he was my favorite. And I mean, I love the Prime. I love Dinobot, and it's been really, especially them announcing Rhinox. And, you're hitting up my heartstrings. But
No, I saw they just announced the '86 version of Slag.
Oh yeah,
They did.
Yeah,
That's one of the things. That's one of the things
Yep.
I want because I'm sorry. I have Masterpiece Grimlock, the US, the one that was released to Toys R Us, but
yeah,
it's hard to do because of my the
Yeah.
screen. But that figure right here is amazing.
yeah. I got the
This is
same one.
so much better than the
I'm trying not to get.
the
It's so much
Titan
better.
Return. I mean the Titan the
The-
combiner for
Yeah.
My best.
Yeah, the Combiner Wars was terrible, but the Studio '86 Studio line one was not that good. The one from Toys R Us was amazing, beautiful.
I
And I
had
think
to retire out of Transformers, and you guys are making it difficult.
I
well,
think I think the scale of the new ones coming out has to be smaller
they're
than
perfect.
yeah.
They're perfect.
Well,
Yeah,
the new Dinobot. If you haven't seen pictures of it, I'll send you pictures of it. The scale is so perfect, but it's smaller than the Toys R Us version. So the scale it'll be working scale with those.
Yeah.
But it's
So-
good also. Go ahead.
The cool thing is like I want for the 86 figures, I want all the Dinobots. Now,
Yeah.
keep in mind there was only 4 in the movie versus the 5. And I'd actually like all 5, but that'd be great. I mean, I'd actually like to see, more of the other races. Wow, and I'm a big Transformers fan. I can't remember what their names are, but the race that gets destroyed at the beginning of the movie,
Krennics.
yeah, I'd love to be able to have like maybe a couple of those figures, even if they don't transform. That'd be really cool.
They actually released those with the Quintessons.
Yes,
One,
yeah, they have.
there is one.
And I have that pack.
But
the
they
Judge
didn't, they didn't release. They like 3¼ inch scales. They're like the smaller version that's articulated that you can actually pose.
Mhm.
May not be able to transform, but if you can just pose them, be a big difference. I mean, because there's purists like ourselves who remember. I remember seeing that movie in the theater. I remember the impact it had on me. I'm waiting for a good version of Ultra Magnus to come out. This new one they put out recently, don't like it. It's just a reissue of the. I'm like, it's crap. I want a big scale. I want the 86 version they're gonna put out. Because we all know it's coming.
So,
You know,
if to go back to your question about,
yeah, because that's my favorite.
oh yeah, go
I
ahead.
love Prime, but my dad was always Prime because he was a truck driver all my life. But I always thought of myself as Ultra Magnus, so he's always been one of my all-time favorites.
the Ultra Magnus to me has always been the big brother that you don't mess with.
Oh, I've got 3 different Ultra Magnuses. The ones that I think are the best versions. But
That might
the
be
one
one.
I really want is the one from the new mini series
Mhm.
that they're doing, where he has the cloak hanging off of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, from
And
Siege, and then
yeah, I would
Well,
I
it
would
is-
want to buy if they would do that with the battle damage and stuff. I would like.
I got that one, but it didn't come with the cloak.
they didn't come with the
Somebody
cloak.
somebody gave him the cloak off of Megatron from
Megatron.
the Dark Side of the Moon, or whatever, which
Yeah.
is the truck. They gave him that cloak, and he actually looks badass that way. And that's, if I can get that cloak, yeah, I have that battle damage Prime. He's just sitting in his box not doing it.
So, for me, for collecting, why how I collect,
Oh yeah, we got off topic.
yeah, Transformers. If
It's
we're
all
gonna talk
good.
about Transformers,
We still haven't even got to me yet. Holy crap!
I know.
it's
Oh shit! Here it comes.
for me, for Transformers, it's always going to be either G1, Beast Wars, the Headmasters, all the stuff from the old school stuff.
See
But-
it? Look at that.
Nice.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh wow. And that's going to be
Yeah.
Studio Series.
Yep. Just announced today. I'm so excited about it. Let's scale on it.
Why why is it not picking it up on a much bigger image? I guess because
Well, it's just because
his
of the-
phone.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
I
doing
think-
the best I can with what I got.
No, I know, but right now, show it while you're the
Oh,
focus.
whoa, wait, man, start throwing money at me. You're gonna start telling me to show it.
I'll throw dollars at you.
oh man, that's going to be amazing.
Really is.
For me, it's all about, so collecting in general is, for me, is a window into my past. It's like pictures. For me, it's like my pictures. Yeah, I can look at something and I can remember when I did something, who I was with, the music that may have been playing, or the atmosphere. It like keeps my mind fresh. I've always said that, like, for me, for Transformers, it's like kind of like my Rubik's Cube, because I can figure out a transformer without having to look at instructions. But sometimes you have to be very careful on that, because of some of the third-party figures, or even some of the masterpieces, you can actually break your figure if you're not careful. But I like, for my master, it depends on the series. So like for the Transformers masterpiece, I want all of the G1 characters. Now, this is expensive, and luckily I me and Josh, and we have a friend that runs a toy store / pawn shop, and he just comes across a lot of this stuff, and then he gets us really good deals. Shout out to Rob and Peddler Post, and thank you for everything that you do. But
which will be on the shows very soon.
Because they're so, and even now with the newer figures, they're making them more cartoon accurate, as far as the way they transform is, and then how they look is just very cartoony. But the problem with that is that you look at Prime, the new one, he's a panel former. I mean, he folds like great,
Yeah.
but if you were to think about how he would transform, it feels like, to me, it was too Michael Bay-ish, and I hated those movies, as far as like everything just moves. It doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't make any sense on the fact that these are war robots that have been battling for centuries, and their guts are showing. There's no armor. There's nothing that, I mean, it's like
Their internal parts
See,
are
parts are
showing.
In
There's
my
no
mind-
armor.
For me, if it doesn't resonate with me personally,
Yeah.
I like my favorite Autobot, it's gonna sound weird, is Cliff Jumper. But if y'all know, Cliff Jumper's original voice was Casey Kasem,
Mhm.
who actually did the voice of Robin.
Yeah.
Robin is my favorite DC character. And when Robin became Nightwing, I resonate with Nightwing because when Robin was a kid, when Dick Grayson was a kid, he was Robin. That's when I was a kid. When I became a teenager, he became Nightwing. So I grew up with a character. So I always liked Robin and Nightwing and Cliff Jumper. That's not now. Like I said, if I can't, if it don't resonate with me, like you look at the modern day version of Soundwave. Why do I want this? Because it turns the G1, the tape recorder, because it reminds me of my youth, a better time. When I
Yeah.
was a lot happier, when I was healthy, when I could speak for myself. There's gotta be an emotional connection there for all
Yeah.
our collections. And I'm not gonna go out and just buy something to buy something. There has to be, in my opinion, for me personally, there has to be a reason why I'm buying certain things.
Yeah.
And as an adult, that's kind of appropriate. You know, we buy things because of nostalgia, because of our links to those items from our past. My concern with all of the toys and collectibles is that they are pricing themselves out of a market that eventually won't be able to afford them,
Yeah.
and it is not for kids anymore. So
There-
what do
there's
we
gonna-
get
there's-
for what do we get for kids now? It's garbage. Disney's
Yeah.
figures.
Yeah.
are
You
just
have the
garbage.
Transformers Universe line that are just awful toys.
Mhm.
I mean, the sculpts, you have too many mold like shortcuts and things. And it's like, I could get those things for Edward, but Edward would rather play with mine because they're more
Yeah.
articulate. They actually look like the cartoon he's watching.
Daddy plays them too.
That I
Well,
now
no,
play with them
I've
too.
heard him say, "I don't like these. I like yours because yours look right."
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and that says a lot coming from a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old.
6-year-old.
You know, again, it comes down to that. You guys probably introduced them to the original films and the original cartoons, and so they grow an emotional attachment to those. So it means more to put their hands on those compared to this new stuff they're seeing that they have no. They're not growing up with it because honestly, as parents, we don't like this new stuff. We like the stuff that made us fall in love with the genre.
Well, and that's a big thing too. So like that's why like I get upset with like when a studio or a company decides to make a film, right? And they decide to do changes that to the status of what the original core was. Unless they're doing something that's like, okay, this is a GI Joe movie. It's kind of original idea. We're going to base certain concepts off of this, and we're going to do this, right? That's kind of how I felt with the Rise of Cobra and Retaliation. It was kind of like their adaptation. I felt that this new Origin Snake Eyes movie is more like, oh yeah, we're going to be like with the fans and the people that grew up with this stuff, and then we're going to make these changes that totally take the fans out of it. I'm like, problem two is the fact that kids that may not or have parents that they like this stuff as kids, but they grew up out of it, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember this stuff, and it's like, well, this kid's going to grow up watching this film and go, well. Oh yeah, Snake Eyes is Snake Eyes is
That's not what we know.
yeah. Well, Snake Eyes is this, and it's like no, he was this in the comic in the original cartoon, and they don't know the source material because the source material is not easy access.
Well,
Yeah,
and it goes to who are their target audience? Are they the old fans? Or are they trying to get?
I think they're trying to capitalize on, in my opinion, they're trying to capitalize on the hype of this new figure line. Well, if the movie's no good because it'll be crap, will it kill all the momentum that this new figure line has?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
When you kill your fan, okay. So there's a difference between
when you disrespect your fan base, you'll kill your income.
Yeah, because if you're catering to your fans and you do right by them, they're going to be your always constant steady income. They're the guarantee that you have that whatever you're doing, they're going to be there for it. Now, on that same token, you have those people that don't care about all that stuff, that they just like to collect. And it's like, but then they go, you either have the ones that understand why fans would be upset for a decision that's made. And then you have the other ones that are like to troll or like to I don't understand why you have to be so blah, blah, blah about this.
Like that one guy.
Yeah, that conversation. Yeah.
That conversation. He goes, "You're gonna prejudge us." I'm like, "Yeah, I am."
Yeah, I mean,
I prejudge on my prejudging movie. Yes, I am, because I'm a fan.
But that's one of the good things about with this goes into a whole topic about the fact that the differences in between what it was to be a fan of something back, when we were younger, yeah, you got shit for it. And, you like this, you're a kid. No, I just happen to know who I am and what I like. And I didn't sell myself out for something that, is a temporary fix. And, that also goes back to that whole thing too.
Well, I think as kids, we didn't think that there's gonna be a monetary value on what we're liking
correct.
and what we're buying.
Yeah, you didn't
Now,
care.
People are going to the stores. Oh, is this going to go up in value?
Exactly.
I heard somebody say that one time because a guy was telling his son, his kid was like, "Dad, I want that." He goes, "Why? That's not going to that's not going to go up in value. That won't be worth money for a couple of years." I'm like, "Really, dude? Buy the toy for your kid. Buy a
Well,
toy."
there's a difference between being a collector, a fan, and a speculator. Comics were almost ruined because speculators came into the market, and now they've done it to the toys.
Yep.
And we'll have to wait and see how long and whether they actually do to that market what they with comics if they do it to the toys. But I'm seeing it moving away from children. And back in the day, advertisers knew that you advertised to the kid, and if you locked them in on a brand, they were loyal. Nowadays,
back in the day, we did not hear the term adult collector.
No, you didn't. And just like, when I was reading comics in junior high, and somebody would come up and try to start a fight with me. Oh, you like the Hulk? You think you can beat me up? No, I happen to like the story. It relates to me through like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and all these other things. And somebody would go, wow. And then you'd talk to them and all of a sudden you become a friend and you make a fan out of them, or you end up fighting because somebody thinks you're a nerd was a bad word, a dweeb, all these little things they used to call us who were fans. But then it became popular, it became pop culture. Yeah. And now you get those same guys who would used to beat you up walking around talking about how big a fan they are.
Yeah. And they've been a fan for a long time. And it's like, I've known you for however long, it's but the thing is, it's like, that's the thing. It's one thing if you liked it and then, you kind of got out of it and then got back into it. And, you were wrapped up in the moment of things, but it's a whole other thing when I remember when people didn't like things.
Yep.
Or it was like, it was very like, you like that?
Yeah.
It was a very big turnoff. And I'm not saying it from a, from the opposite side of this, the gender or whatever. It was just like, it was this thing of like, why are you wasting your time on that? If you were into comics and stuff, you lived in your mom's basement.
They said the same thing about people who were gamers.
I never really give a shit about what anybody says about me.
I don't either.
I had my friends and get put in that category, and yet they go, well, if he's like that, he's actually a pretty cool guy. I should hang out with him. Nah, go somewhere else. I don't really care. Because I'm gonna collect what I want and read what I want and get hyped up. Even my family doesn't even know why I still collect. I get those looks and comments from my mom, and I am who I am.
I remember people telling me I was wasting my money, but those same people who told me that would go out clubbing every weekend and try to figure out where their paycheck went on Monday. I spent what? Yeah, well, and you know what? I buy something and later on I might have to sell it, but at least I have something that I can sell to help me. It's going to hurt. I might have to go back and find it if I really want it. But there's, telling me I'm wasting my time for liking something and then doing something far worse. I was like, you should really look in a mirror before you go around judging people.
It's funny, like my wife, when we got together, she did not like the industry at all. She couldn't understand it. And then we were actually living in a lake house, and she read the Teen Titans by Jeff Johns and Michael Turner. Fell in love with it. She fell in love with it. Now she's Kryptonian on one wrist, one tattoo on the other wrist. And y'all know my wife. She was always with me at the shows. She's always buying something. But now my kids are like, Dad, I like this industry. I didn't force it on them. They saw what it means to me. They saw what it means to them. It resonates with them. And now, like you're saying about collecting as an adult, do I think the bubble is gonna pop? I do. I think the bubble is real close to popping because it's gonna get away from its target audience. But there is one thing that's gonna come out. It's always gonna take us adults back to a time in our lives where we're innocent. Like I remember the only time I didn't really collect items sent to me was when I was deployed in the Middle East. My parents used to send me comics in the Middle East. Instead of care packages, my care packages would be a box of comics. And my friends were like, dude, what are you getting? I'm like, comic books. My entire tent, they all read them because they kept us grounded. And now those guys still to this day read them. They go, because they kept us grounded instead of making us go insane in the Gulf. I'm like, what y'all understand is that for collectors like us who fall in love with comics, toys, whatever, it's a piece of our heart that is still pure. When you have a like you said a speculator ruin the industry by buying stuff to see if it go on value. Like I bought recently. I bought some of the Cobra Vipers, the new ones that came out. I got them the day of release. But yeah, I was seeing people online that same day selling them for $150. I'm like, how are y'all scalping stuff that y'all don't even have in hand? It makes this ruins the industry. Scalpers ruin the industry.
But here's that thing too. So I hate the exclusivity with Hasbro right now.
Yes.
And we and Josh were talking about it. And I feel that they want to promote, for one, they want to promote the membership, right? To be able to get access to toys, before anybody else does. So why wouldn't you market it where, yeah, it's $50 for a year, but all the exclusive toys that we do for Target, Walmart, anywhere else,
I would
Hasbro Pulse, if you're a member, you get access to it before it hits stores. So that way, if I wanted to get my Bumblebee, which I'm still angry that I can't find my Netflix Bumblebee, and that is my favorite Transformer. That's why I get so angry about the Michael Bay movies, because Bumblebee was he was the heart of the Autobots. And to have him be this mute character, just a caricature of himself, ticked me off. And but I can't find those. I'm still missing Beachhead. I'm missing the Cobra Island Trooper, Firefly, and the Cobra Viper.
Yeah,
I can't find them.
And if they actually said they would sell them online to Pulse members, paid Pulse members,
yes,
I would join.
Yeah, for just hey, we're going to do this for a month, and then if you how many ever you buy, or if you even want to limit it, how many ever you want to buy, we'll produce those.
And that way, Josh can't hear you, can't see it.
Oh, it's figure, his Cobra line with the
get lucky and find what I can.
Oh, yeah, like out of that new set, I mean, out of the new ones, I've only looked for Firefly and Beachhead,
right back,
Falcon and not Falcon, Flint and Lady J. Lady J. Those are the ones that I want out of. Well, I said Falcon first, and then I said Flint. Yeah, okay. I corrected myself.
Okay. Well, Flint and Lady J are just not hitting the store.
I know. Yeah. But it's just like at the cons with the exclusives for the cons. How long did I look for the one that had the set for the big crossover event that had
the Cobra Island and the DVD box sets?
Target? Oh God!
Because you were looking for Quick Kick and
what's sad is I found them before everybody did.
Yeah, I never.
Well, not just them. What about the more recent one that had Jetfire and the Micronauts and?
Well, that was a Comic-Con exclusive.
That's what I was saying. The Comic-Con exclusives that come out with a limited run that unless you went to the con or you want to pop down $200-300 once it goes aftermarket, you're never going to get a chance at getting them. That's why
Yeah,
at
why
the
would you limit
cons,
your?
I would go around and talk to the guys who had the open figures. What do you got? What's new? Because then I could get some of the figures that you had to buy, like all six to build the build a figure. You know those,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to have to buy those. I just wanted the build a figure one. And there was a time back then when they would do a limited run like that, and then you always knew somewhere down the line they would do a reissue of it, and then those who missed it the first time got to be able to pick it up. Those molds still exist. They
Well, I
could
mean-
mass produce them if they wanted them at
Right.
any time.
And that's the thing too, is like you could, it was cool with like the Devastator figure or Fort Max. They did a chrome kind of metallic version of Devastator, or the
Oh, yeah.
Fort Max
The
that
purple-
had
Purple was
the
shiny.
sword. Yeah, and it's like those are the things. It's just a different alternate paint job. It's a skin, a different reskin of the
But
figure.
you have that choice if you want that one or the other one. I mean,
Yeah, you could have got the
I
other one.
get it.
But remember, we had Toys R Us at the time. Toys R Us was still
Yeah.
around. That was the one thing that was good about it, is like there was Toys R Us, like, at least 20 or so Toys R Us's in the city of Houston. So I can go try to hit at least 4 or 5 of them between coming from work to home. And I call up Josh, hey, let's go bounce and see if we can try to find these figures. But now it's
Yeah,
like
I get it.
there's tons of Walmarts and Toys R Us, but you can't find anything.
No,
And I'm
you wanna
like-
go to Third Planet? Not at all.
Yeah, I mean, like I sit there
They'll
and
have
like
it there.
I love the
spend, like,
toy groups that we're
$5 on
in. Like the Houston. Which one is it, Josh? The
HTP, he's Toy
yeah.
Cycles and
Yeah.
Gulf Coast Toys.
And
Shout out
sorry
to
guys for
everybody.
not being able to shout that right out correctly, but it's
Oh, you got a
frustrating
lot of
because
info. You're good.
it's frustrating because when you're trying to,
Hold
there's
on, I
it's
got something for you.
okay.
He didn't fall in, ladies and gentlemen. He's back. Hey.
Oh wow.
I figured he was going off to get something.
He brought
Are you
back
looking for
the
this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Hold on.
actually a really good one.
And then
Yeah.
Oh nice. Yeah.
I've got mine's at Rob's. I'm gonna go pick it up at the end of the month.
Well, some of my figures are at
And then-
Lewis's. He needs to bring them when he comes up here.
Zartan.
Nice.
That's actually
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Zartan came out really beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Like I
somebody
was,
just found a whole bunch of them up in Humble.
But it's just
Target.
yeah.
well, my problem. My problem with this line is that they're so hard to find,
yeah.
and I
But
think
see,
honestly,
it's not just because of collectors. It's because a lot of these a-holes are going around buying them because they're
Oh,
going to
yeah.
put on.
I'm,
There's a
I,
classified actual group on Facebook, and there's guys
Mhm.
buying up all the troop builders and putting them in totes.
yeah.
On
I'm like,
purpose, he put on them, and then he's going to eventually, sell them or trade them for whatever. And there's another guy, I ain't going to say his name, has his own little raffle group. I can't stand him, but I follow him because I just watch what he does. And he buys up all these figures, and he acts like a hero to everybody because he'll go off and he'll help some people. Like he'll go find 5 troopers, be like, I got 3 troopers, I'll sell them to you retail, and he keeps the other 2 troopers, puts them away, and all of a sudden he'll be like, yeah, oh yeah, by the way, I got this, I'm gonna put it in the raffle, 50 spots, $5 a piece. And then he does that, and everybody's like, he's a good dude. He always looks out for us. Let's go ahead and buy a ticket. And then they all fill up the raffle, and he makes all this money. And guess what? He doesn't
Yep.
pay for his collection. We pay for his collection.
yeah,
Why? Because we're stupid. I'm sorry, but it's the truth, and it aggravates
you
me every
should
time
you
I
should
see
say,
it.
you should say his name. Say his
You
name.
know who it is? You know who
I
it
know
is?
think-
who it is.
I think
but
so.
We'll
Say
talk
his
I'm
name.
about.
not gonna say it.
Yeah. We're
Come
not
on,
gonna
say his
do it.
name. Come on, call him out.
I know I can't because
Yeah,
this is podcast.
We'll talk about it after we finish, but
Damn it.
just because I know him too, and there's some things I'd love to be able to get from him because he's got something that he's got 2 of things that I want really bad because as a fan of this series, and I've had things happen in my life where I just like there was items that I wanted I had in my cart on Big Bad Toy Store that I had to let go of because I had priorities. I mean, other things that need to be taken care of, family stuff and bills. But I love Bio Booster Armor, the Guyver figure. I mean, I love that manga. I love the anime. I love the 2 movies.
Yeah.
I want a figure so bad, but I don't want to pay. When the first figure was coming out, it was like, I think $60 to $80. Cool, reasonable. Not $400 now.
Yeah.
You know what is sad is that we used to be able to go and buy the actual imports at places like Planet Anime and all these others at a reasonable price because you weren't having to cover the shipping because they were covering that to bring in merchandise to sell in the States. And so this stuff is widely available in other countries, even Great Britain. There are figures you cannot find here, but if you go on and you shop on these foreign sites, you'll find it. You got to be careful. You don't want to buy. There are a lot of knockoffs out there, so you got to be careful. But you can find things that not only were produced here but not released here because they were trying to do away with the line, so they shipped them over to Europe somewhere, and some of those are still available and they're not that expensive. It's the exchange rate and shipping that kills it.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's that too. You look at like going back to the Masterpiece figures. They're super expensive, and luckily, like I said about Rob being able to, he happens to come across them. Someone's reselling them, and he gets them in a good price, and then he sells it to me at a good price, and I'm okay. But or like Big Bad Toy Store will do like a clearance sale, like they did for their 20-year anniversary that was going on for I don't know how long it was going on, almost like a year. The whole year was like just different discounts. I was able to get a lot of the figures that I was missing at the time, but I need Ironhide. I want
I want to slap you because you talked me into buying Ironhide and Ratchet, the previous ones, and they were actually looked like they did from Cybertron, and
Yeah.
I only want the ones that are from the Earth versions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now I can't find Ironhide, and if I do find him, it's too expensive.
And
Well-
going back to what Vince was talking about, the bio armor. Okay, so knowing you, okay, you don't want to spend $400 on it. I get that, but you buy this, you buy that, you buy this, but you really want that bio armor, but you still buy this, like G.I. Joe's, you still buy. Just saying, turtles.
Yes, you're right.
The new Transformers, and this is where I'm getting at. The Armor Plus line, Ronin Warriors.
Oh yeah.
Came out.
Yeah.
They came out to the States. How much were they? 144
Or 200, depending on.
No, it was 144 when it came to the Big Bad. That's where only place I can get them at the time. I got Ryo. Then the Sage came out. Then Roan came out. Then Psy. Harriel came out. And if anybody knows Samurai Troopers or here in the States, Ronin Warriors. Look them up.
Yeah, I know. I bought you a few
Of the old,
of the
originals.
old ones.
Oh, the
Yeah,
old,
originals.
not the Armor Plus.
Not the new ones.
The Armor Plus were, straight up articulated figures with die-cast armor. Now they're being remade by Sentinel. They're going to be plastic armor. They are beautiful, but they're smaller and a little bit smaller in scale. I was really debating on getting them because I didn't have Kento. Because when Kento came out, I was getting between jobs, whatever, could never get him, and he sold out. He went from 144 here in the States to automatically 250, 300, 450, 550, and I'm like, well, I'll never own him. So I moved, had a family, had different girlfriends, lived here, lived there, moved to Arkansas. I don't even know. It might have been
It was post Arkansas.
It was yeah. Well, for many years I didn't have Kento, and I even tried selling them one time, and only because I couldn't get Kento. Like, he's the orange one. He's one of my favorites, and I was aggravated because I couldn't afford it. So I waited and I waited. I started saving up. I told myself, I said, you know what? F this. I got to start. If I want to get it, I need to do something. So I started putting money aside. And I've always been horrible with money because either I forget bills or I impulse buy and screwed myself. Well, I've gotten a lot wiser over the years, but I started putting money away. And, little Stimmy came, and motivated my ass to finally hunt this bad boy down. Had to go to Japan to get him. But did I pay $500 for it? No. Found in Japan for $300 ship. Did I want to pay $300? No. But you know what? I finally got the damn thing.
You have the whole set now.
Well, I do. Only problem is he suffers from the hip joints. So as soon as I got him out of the package, both hips were broke. His legs were completely broke. So now I'm waiting on the main guy, not the main guy, the guy who sent me the repair pieces before, because 3 of the others broke. I got repair pieces from him many years ago. And luckily he still does them. He casts them and all that. Well, it takes him forever. So, and not only that, shipping from Japan to here for the small package, it'll take a while. Shipping from Japan to this with bulk items, a lot quicker. But am I happy I bought it even though it's broke? I didn't know it was broke until I got it. Am I happy still? Hell yeah, I'm still happy. When I get those hip joints and I fix this and I display them finally, I might actually cry because this is something I've been wanting for so long.
But that also completes your collection, though.
Yeah.
There's something about that satisfaction.
There is, but also a third party has been making the Dark Warlords. Now I got to get on that shit because
but
they made 3 out of the 5.
But let's be honest, that's just a continuation of this collection. Yeah. Again, when this initial collection is complete, so there's that part of you that says you're done with that part. Now you can move on to the secondary part.
I literally feel like Thanos getting that last.
I have.
Gem.
This is a segue into something I want to talk about in a minute. No, go on, finish your thought.
No, with me, like that actually happened with me with Star Wars Black Series. I initially set out to buy just Luke, Han, and Leia. Well, I did. I got them from Return of the Jedi, Star Wars, and Empire. It's okay. Well, now that was done, what do I do? I want Vader. I want to have. It was the death of Jeremy Bullock right after David Prowse, who I knew both of them encouraged me to buy. They made me buy a Boba Fett and a Vader. Like, well, I'm gonna buy something. I'm gonna buy a figure, every actor I know for Star Wars. So I did. That led to me buying all Sith and all Jedi. When I did that, I started buying Troopers. I was like, once I complete one section of the collection, I'll move on to more. And not because I have to buy, because it's almost like a sense of accomplishment. You hunted these pieces down, you bought these pieces, and now the pieces are part of your family. For me, I want my grandson to have the best toys that he can get. That's why I started buying again. Because I want him, I don't know how toys are gonna be in 10 years. They may suck. I want him to have the good stuff.
So here you go.
This belongs in a museum.
What I told my kids and my grandson and granddaughter, that when I die, I'm leaving them a knife. And whoever wins gets all my collection.
He did that same shit when that pretty blonde came around that one time, put a knife in front of all those boys that were looking. There you go, boys, go at it.
Yeah, and I don't want my family killing each other over garbage. And I don't mean garbage. I mean that it's not important in life. If they want it because it reminds them of something, or they want to collect it, I want them to have it. And I don't want them fighting over it. But it was like, well, I want this, I want that, I want that, I want that. And it reminded me of when my grandmother died, and I watched my aunt become feral dogs over her stuff. And I was like, you know what? And that's kind of where I get that as a joke of, okay, well, here's a knife. Y'all go fight it out, and whoever wins gets it. Yeah. But I would prefer y'all to walk away from it than to hurt each other over it.
Yeah, I know what I want to do with it while I'm here. I want to build dioramas. I may want to do some stop motion animation. I want to play with Edward with the stuff. But after it's gone, it's up to Anna and him to do what they want with it. I'm not going to worry about what's going to happen to it after I'm gone. But
I'm getting buried with all my shit. Screw all y'all.
He's going to be getting cut over here.
You're going to get buried with all of it.
No. Emily already knows to contact Rob and the boys, and then they'll help
Yeah.
do what they need to do with it, because they're not. She's not going to be without, and Rob will always make sure that.
Okay. So I think we got a little morbid here. Let's go to something else.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things I want to talk about is we've kind of touched on it, and it's about completing collections, but not so much of how just like when you're trying to complete a comic book collection, you're trying to fill your holes. It's just the adventure of the hunt, finding it, and then when you finish it, you're like, wow, that's great. But there's always going to be the next time.
Yeah.
But when they don't produce something, they start a line, end it, or they keep reproducing the same figures instead of the other characters.
That's
Don't
when
you dare talk about Common Farthing like
Or
that.
Marvel with their the Marvel line.
And then
How about
it's taken
Hasbro
them
doing
for
that?
Yeah.
and it's taken them for years. You know what would have sold? Dioramas. People wanted dioramas. We were building them at home ourselves. Why couldn't they catch on to that? And you know what? I don't believe in this whole thing when they say, oh, women figures don't work, because there are so many examples of female figures that sold better than the male figures did. So I don't want to hear that.
I mean,
Alright,
come on,
yeah.
RC. I was waiting for a good
Yeah.
RC figure. This one's great.
Really, some of the hottest figures are the female WWE leagues.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then
Okay,
you'll still
man.
hear manufacturers say female figures don't sell. Well, that's probably because you're marketing towards males.
They're gonna tell me.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
gonna tell me. They're gonna tell me that this won't sell.
Ahsoka, yeah, I have
Yeah.
that one. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean-
if we're gonna talk about
I
like
have that one.
figures,
I don't
we're gonna
have
talk
that
about
one.
Star Wars figures that need to have like Star Wars characters that need figures made. First Mara Jade. You
Yeah.
know, I don't want another Rey or a Rose Tico or any
No.
of the people from the sequel stuff. I
I
want
need.
my
I need.
expanded universe stuff. I want the stuff that I grew up with that has a meaning to me, where it was about expanding the universe and the stories and finally getting a conclusion to what happened to Luke, Han, and Leia. Not them going, let's burn the past, and that's the only way we can move forward. I mean, that's the only way
got
you
to
want to
destroy the past to
franchise.
build up their future, and that doesn't
Now-
work.
Now, Master, hitting on what you said, Vince. With these companies reusing molds and recoloring molds, like they're putting out a mirrored universe of Blur. Blur is now a peg warmer at most WalMarts.
Actually, I love
Walmart-
Blue.
Me too. I love Blur too,
Yeah.
but he's now a big peg warmer.
And there's a
But-
Shattered Glass version coming out, by the way.
That's what we're
Yeah,
talking about. Yeah.
That's just a remold of the current Blur at a higher price point.
Yeah, and it's a figure spot that could be used for somebody else.
Yeah, there is. So that being said, is it worth the money to buy a remold and recolor of an existing character that you're paying $20 for compared to 60? Is it worth it?
No,
Not
I mean,
to me, it isn't.
Well, and see, it's one thing if like so shattered glass stuff is very niche, right? So what gets me is that I was able to get the Ironhide Prowl Earthrise version, but due to something with Amazon doing this whole thing where they couldn't, because there was a delay in the shipment, they needed me to confirm that I still wanted to pre-order this, even though I pre-ordered it from day one. Now I can't find that figure, so I miss out on Ratchet, Earthrise Ratchet. I wanted Ratchet and Ironhide to be together for my standard Hasbro Transformer line right now. And I say that because even though they're releasing certain
Wait,
figures
who
that
you-
go into like the Earth, the
Who you-
Kingdom, and the Earthrise.
Vince, Josh.
Oh,
said
Josh,
something.
Josh was saying
No, who you looking for again?
the Earthrise version of Ratchet. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
2-pack for it was a 2-pack for Amazon.
Yeah, remember?
And
him
because
and
Amazon
Chromia.
so because Amazon decided to go and say, oh, we're moving the date when this is going to be released, we need to verify that you still want to pre-order this, which is stupid. Why?
Yeah, if you pre-ordered it,
I
you're
pre-ordered, I
going to
want the
it.
figure. Like,
And
I'm
they
not going to
did
be
They
inconvenienced.
did that to clear out their
Their
pre-orders,
pre-orders. Yeah.
It's
pre-orders, so
funny.
they could start them over. Yeah.
It's funny that they asked you that. They asked me the same thing. But when I pre-ordered Storm Shadow, they didn't ask me. I pre-ordered my Hot Rod, they didn't ask me. When they shipped it to me, they just shipped it to me. But they did ask me for those pre-orders for Ratchet and Ironhide. Like, why do y'all have to confirm it? I already confirmed it. I've ordered it already.
Yeah, it's
Now
already
I'm gonna lose it if I don't confirm it. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
The other ones, I forgot I even ordered them. Forgot they were coming in. They ordered. They came in. Like,
so here's my thing. So if you're going to do exclusives that it's not going to hurt your collection if you don't get that figure. Like,
yes.
Okay, you're going to do, and like, we're going to do Arctic Snake Eyes, and he's got the Arctic gear on. I don't have to have that figure.
Yeah.
But you're going to put Beachhead and Baroness in her traditional costume, and the Cobra Viper and Firefly for exclusives for a store. Why? It doesn't make any sense. And that's where it goes back to the whole thing too, is like, if Hasbro Pulse would do it, if you have a membership with them, you get exclusive rights to be able to get it. And then once we stop this, should be about the time that it's going to hit the stores. This would also allow, maybe the younger generation that we're trying to get into toys like this can be able to get a chance to get it too, because toys were for kids.
If you want to do an exclusive, that's fine. But you've got this mold, right? So you could easily do a re-release, say, 6 months or a year,
maybe it's a limited,
and slightly repaint it and make a much larger distribution of it. So if you miss this version, you can get this version. It might be different just because of certain paint or certain extras that they add in. But if you can't,
that's a whole topic too.
Well, you brought up NECA. I want to say something real quick about that, and I think we should continue on this subject for a minute. Back when NECA first came out and McFarlane were doing figures, there would be figures that I would order for through when I worked for other people's shops or for myself as part of my my box, only to have store owners, when it became a hot item, tell you, oh, it didn't come in, or we wouldn't get enough of them and you didn't get yours. And then I find out that I'm the only one who ordered it and that it did come in, but they sold it to somebody else at a much higher price because they were going to have to sell it to me for the retail price because I ordered it part of my box. They can't raise your price on those. So they could sell it to somebody else and make more money off it. And I missed out on figures. I missed out on my Thing figure where he's walking into the dog kennel. It was McCready with the sweatshirt on and the shotgun. And I was the only one who ordered it from a particular store who I'm going to name. And I get a call that it's in to come pick it up. I get there and the one guy tells me, oh, we didn't get that. And so I went and talked to somebody I know. I said, hey, come here for a minute. I got a call. Y'all told me my figure was in, and now they're saying he didn't get it. He comes back, and he goes, it came in, but somebody sold it. And I said, so then you're going to order another one for me, right? Well, no, you can't get them anymore. So you profited on me wanting something, and you're not going to do anything for me.
Yeah.
So then you lose my business. That's that whole thing too. I mean,
You want to hear something funny about Hasbro Pulse right now? I'm on their website, and we're talking about exclusive figures. Do y'all remember how fast the last Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow sold out? Most instantly, right?
Well, yeah, pretty instantly.
Pretty much within 24 hours. They announced this on Friday afternoon. It's still in pre-order.
Yeah, because no one wants it. No one wants those movie figures.
No one wants them at all. They're still available. I'm like, that should send a clear message that they made a mistake.
Yeah. Or they could be like Disney and just double down. And then they artificially call your fan base toxic. And it's like, why? Yeah. I'm willing to give you money for you to tell or to tell good stories or make good product.
Now the new Optimus Prime, the Rebel one, $700 compared to a $22 figure, sold out.
Yeah.
And now it's the same day, hours apart from each other. One's $22.99, this one's $699. How the hell does that limit $700 sell out faster than a $23 figure?
Because it's
Well,
what people
it's limited.
want.
It's a limited production, probably.
No, wrong. It's because it's good.
Yeah, that's true too. That is
Well,
very
that's
true.
true
Good.
too.
It's a good mold and it's faithful to the original incarnation.
And it's always a
And
new
some
toy.
people-
It's something new
Some
that people
sit
want.
on their stimulus checks.
And mine was
Like,
gone.
I was waiting for the rainy day. Cha-ching!
Yeah.
Thanks, babe, for having five kids. They
You know what's
finally
funny?
paid off.
Shit, all I got mine in. You know what the Social Security told me? I had to spend it. I could not save any of my income tax or my stimulus because it would have went for income. It hurt me, but I saved any of it. So I had to buy. So excuse me if I had to buy a PlayStation 5. My bad.
Yeah.
Well, it for me it went to paying bills.
Yeah, that's that
So-
whole thing too. Is like, I know some of the guys were complaining about it, how much the price was. That's like, I would get it if I had the money. It's a cool. It's Optimus Prime. I mean,
It's cool.
it's just like whenever they did the MP1 review at one of the conventions, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want this so much.
If you have the money, it's a known fact. If you have
Yeah.
the money, and
Yeah, you're gonna spend it.
You're gonna want it.
You're gonna spend it.
But it's like, I was like,
Small
well,
percentage, they're gonna go, well, I have bills coming up, but they're paid
Let-
off, but I gotta worry.
let's be-
and then
let's
we
be
get all
real.
this money.
As old school Transformer collectors, we've always wanted one of these that transformed, made the noise, and spoke with Peter Cullen's voice. We've always wanted that. And now that's available. Hold on. And the feet light up.
yeah,
It
yeah, I
freaking
love
lights
lights
up.
up.
But-
But what I want the Megatron that is a gun that and it phase shifts and transforms into a 6 foot tall robot.
Yeah, right.
Well, I've been waiting for a decent Galvatron, so they're finally
coming.
going to do
They're
one.
finally
That's
doing
gonna be
everybody
great.
do one.
Yeah,
And
But I
that-
want to go.
That will get back to the point where we're completing certain aspects of our
Yeah,
collection.
yeah, we're collecting our collection. Yeah,
And there's a lot of holes in that collection that these companies need to plug. They fill these holes so collectors can fill that one collection and move on to another one. Because we can't move on to another branch. We can't move on to more figures if we don't complete one.
yeah, complete the original set. Like back with NECA and stuff, the fact that like Josh has the cartoon turtles, the ones that they're only releasing at Target. Well,
Yeah.
they go, oh, we're
Well-
releasing more figures, but they're not re-releasing any of the
Well,
original
not
stuff, so
just
other
Target,
people
I
get
mean,
into it.
I missed out on that first run, so I got luckily my buddy. I'm not gonna say his name because he told me not to ever tell that he sold his two concepts, and I ended up getting it from him. So I got
Yeah.
the VHS cover movie Turtles with the Domino's Pizza box, and then I got
Unlock
the
the computer now.
animated ones with the old school flip tab plastic carrying case for your figures, which had the 4 animated turtles, Crane, and the little hopper bot, Shredder, and 2 Foot Soldier,
Yeah,
which was awesome. But I would never, it's not that I would never, it's just what motivated me to even start collecting them. But because of it's his right time and payment plan, it
So-
arose. But after that, yes, I've been just getting them as they come out, and
yeah, I haven't had any luck at all finding any of them. The last two I just recently saw, and it's like, well, if I can't get the original turtles, why am I going to go buy the Triceraton and I can't remember the other figure that's with that set.
eventually on these Fridays that they're doing exclusive pre-orders, you're probably going to get the 2-packs of the turtles.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I was talking about the whole limited exclusivity. If you're going to do something exclusive, right, do it limited. Like what Sony, not just Sony, but
Well,
like
they did.
Square Enix with like Final Fantasy 7. The limited exclusivity for it to be on the PS4 with Sony is coming up. So they're going to be releasing the Xbox version and the PC version. So they can get into it. So why not do that? Okay, so we're going to do exclusively for a year at Target, and then we're going to mass produce it after that. So that way people have a chance to get it. Why would you give up the opportunity to make money?
There are tons of companies in the
Contract.
corporate world now that walk away with money, leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta remember contracts though. The contract signed and they finally comes up time. That's probably why there's exclusivity to Target and Walmart that they can't touch because, oh man, back when we were doing this deal, we did this and then we changed, then we created this piece for them. And it's like, man, we could really make this much more money, but we're already on a contract. So let's go ahead and sell it.
It's a shared
And then, but we
cost
can
structure.
repaint it. We can repaint it like the Super Shredder. We'll release it minor quantities at Walmart because it's Walmart exclusive, and then go, well, we can repaint it and sell it online and sell it in stores. And then
Yeah, which I still haven't found any of the movie ones yet.
And now, of course, the animated Shredder is now in a new box set.
Yes, which is I don't want to try to find.
Repainted.
But
yeah.
That's that's my thing is like, it's sad because I'd love to get all these turtle figures because I was a big turtle fan, but I can't find them. And of course, the Target over by my work, off of.
I bought
Exactly.
him every turtle figure ever, including the sewer
Close
thing
to it.
and the
Technodrome.
Technodrome. And you grew up and said, I'm into video games now, Dad. I don't care about these. So I give them to, family members. And then now you're like, hey, do you know where those are? Yeah. Well, they went to somebody else to play with.
I don't know why you didn't learn your lesson from the He-Man about.
I know that wasn't that. Okay. We're going to get into this.
That wasn't his fault. That
was not my fault.
That was not his fault.
It kind of was his fault to the point where he should have fought his mom. Damn it.
Well, I tried to. My mom didn't. Okay. So I'm sorry, Mom. I'm going to throw you under the bus, but I love you. So I had.
We're not going to say his mom's blonde or anything.
No, you're going to make her mad, Josh.
Hey,
I had. Dad
He's
got.
not-
I
he's
had
not there
most
right now.
of. I had most of, if not all. I mean, there was probably a few rare occasions of things I didn't have for He-Man, Master of the Universe, when I was a kid. And I was outside playing with it one day, and Mom told me to come in and bring my stuff in, and I brought my stuff in. Not all of it. I was playing with some of it. This boy who lived somewhere in the apartment complex we were living at, came with his mom, and they told me that I stole his He-Man stuff. So I had to give up all my He-Man stuff.
Yeah,
because my mom thought my He-Man stuff was, put away in my room. When my dad came home, I was crying, and I told him what happened, and my dad went and looked in the room. He's like, Donna, why didn't you check this? Why didn't you call me? She said, I didn't know. So my dad tried to go and get my figures back from this kid, and we never did because
we went. You saw him, and you go, that's him. He saw us walking up, and he ran in the house. And I said, ma'am, you went. I didn't know she had went there. I said, your son came and told my wife that my son's toys were his. She did not check the room to verify his toys were put up, and she handed them all to him. I know that you have them, and I'd like you to give them back, or I will call the police. So she goes, my son has never been out of this house today. And I was like, okay. Your son didn't go out of the house today? She goes, no. I said, why did I see him just run in the door? I don't know what you're talking about. And he sticks his head around her and he's looking, and she says, get in the door, get inside. And then so they shut the door in my face. So I called the cops. Cops said, there anything we can do? Your wife gave these to them. And I was like, no, she was mistaken. This is quite a big collection of figures and Castle Grayskull and everything else. And so then she sends her husband to try to start trouble with me. And back then I wasn't a feeble old man, and we started to go at it. And somebody else comes running up and started fussing at us because we were fighting, about to get into a fight, and there were kids around. And not too long after that, they moved. when we found out they'd had problems with other people in the complex. And so then I had to the laborious effort of going around trying to find him as much of that stuff as I could. So that's where we started going to flea markets. And after, going and buying a pre-open, I found him another gray skull, but it wasn't complete. So then I had to go find all the pieces for it. I had to do repaints on it, but we never got it back to where it was. And this is not his mom's fault as much as that those people knew what they did.
Oh yeah.
And it just
it's just one of those moments that
and there are good apartments you can live in, and then there's some that aren't. This apartment, I actually had my car broke into twice, so and my car parked right outside of the parking garage was right outside my door, so they had some pretty ballsy people.
This was Josh, the Commons before it was the Commons that you guys were living in.
I got a question for you, gentlemen. So, as an adult, do you still enjoy the hunt?
Yes,
I don't hunt,
but it's difficult to do things right now with the pandemic going on. It's hard to.
And then walking around with a cane and bending down and looking through stuff.
That's the only thing I like about the hunt right now. It's like if I don't know where I'm going to go, I can't go out all day. I think I enjoy finding it more out in the wild. Like if I go to the antique store here in Houston, and I find it there, I spur the moment. I'm like, oh my God, there's a C3PO I've been looking for. It's a good price. I think I prefer finding it in the wild rather than actually going out and saying, I'm going to go find me a firefly, or I'm going to go look for one specific figure. I think I enjoy that more than the actual hunt.
Well, as Josh and my son can tell you, we used to make an event of it on a Saturday.
Yeah, or the whole weekend.
Load up the car, and we're gonna drive all over town looking for stuff.
Or
it's funny. My daughters like doing it. My daughters like doing that with me. They like hunting. I'm like, why do you like this? She goes, Dad, it's something you love to do. We like doing it with you, and they've gotten into it. So it's weird that I didn't think little girls were gonna start liking hunting toys, but they're starting to hunt. They're starting to hunt them down. I'm like, I can't be upset about that.
It's the same way people who like to buy antiques or who like to go and garage sale shopping.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's like a treasure hunt. You never know what you're going to find.
I don't do it anymore. I have contacts now that because my health or I don't have time or the energy to go because of my work schedule.
Josh got all bougie.
Yeah,
but I also coordinate to help out other people. Like
yeah,
on my stuff. And then I know enough people now.
Well, it's funny. We're talking about hunting right now, but dang well, if the convention season was still going, we wouldn't have to hunt.
Oh no.
All our contacts at shows would just like, hey, I got this per side for you. Come get it when you're ready.
Come get it when you're ready. Yep.
Oh, like at the Gulf Coast Story Show, like
the Gulf Coast. Yeah.
That I know that I've gone there and brought stuff up there, sold it to somebody that, hey, I'll meet you there, or hey, buddy, you got that, and I go up there and trade it for them. And I know, I'm not gonna say, I know about at least 10 people that sell it there, and I know I can go there and get anything there cheaper than what they have it, but also in return, hey, you're looking for that old boy over there has it, and I can go talk to him, and and also walk around and go, oh my God, I was looking for that, and you find whatever you need there, and you may pay a little bit extra for it, but hey, it's there.
Well, I used to like going and finding pieces for people and tell them, oh, this is for this. Help them label it, because half the time they go, I don't know what's in the box.
That is a lot of time.
And go, well, this, and then you sort it for them, and then they, you're going to buy something from them. They go, take it. You saved me a ton of work.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know what they have.
Yeah.
That's usually Rob for me and Josh when we go up on the meets and stuff. Like he puts me on Transformer sorting detail, and Josh on like GI Joe or some other thing, and we're always busy. But he's like,
now I'm even now I even price and I help order his Entertainment Earth stuff now.
Yeah.
So like when he hits me up, hey man, we got to make an order. All right, what do we need to get? And then we go on his account and start. Like he has a $14,000 Entertainment Earth order in process right now.
Yeah.
Like this was his last one. I'm not talking about the other ones he's already done. And he's getting more and more into new stuff, and it's fun for me because I'm learning more about it. But also it's like, holy crap, that's a lot of shit, you know. But
Yeah.
you know, we're trying to get more and more new stuff
Yeah.
that people might like.
Well, I think now the conventions are starting to kick back up. People like yourself who are vendors, you need to stock up. You know,
And it would help for us to start seeing people making price guides again.
yeah.
Yeah.
You used to be able to get a price guide and go and look through by genre and figure,
Yeah.
and now it's all estimates.
Yeah.
No, it's more of what's sold on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
well,
true.
That's
eBay's,
the very first. That's the very first one that 90% of people actually look up. The other 10%, I would say, is hearsay. And hey, buddy, what does that go for? I'd say $50, you know, and they go from there. Like, it's $50. Well, you can find it in the store for 20.
This is why I started collecting again. I started collecting these artist editions.
Oh, okay.
The
I
artist
can't see it.
Yeah, it's upside down, by the way.
is it?
Is it? Oh,
Is it upside
yeah.
down? It does look like upside down.
It
I
was.
knew it was that.
Yeah, the artist edition books.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been collecting a couple of those, not the DC ones, but like
I got two Jim Lee, a Michael Turner, and a Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah, I would love
I'm-
one.
I'm-
I've seen the Bernie Wrightson one. I've got some of his artwork, but
You know, I just ordered the Jack Kirby one.
oh, nice. Yeah.
The last thing I just got.
That's nice.
I'm a big wrestling fan, so I just got
The
Steve
Dragon.
Yep.
You watch
Yeah.
you watching Mania now?
No, not now. As soon as I get off here, I'm gonna go get prepped for
Yeah.
it.
I
I watched last night. Last night was great.
It was okay.
I had fun. I mean, well, how do you mean it was okay?
Yeah, it was kind of blah.
So
Man,
we'll definitely do an
everybody
episode on
was-
wrestling. I know that.
Everybody was overwhelmed, but it was fun to see the crowd back and people actually
Yeah.
going at it.
That meant a lot to me watching as a fan. That crowd interaction. But I think it's a problem when you start out with your heavyweight champion at the very beginning of the show.
It's because they swapped the women out.
I know. Well, I'm really glad they main evented last night. It's really cool. But they should have had Lashley right before them. Get
True.
them ready.
But I think they wanted to pump everybody up since there was that rain delay. I think they did it like that to like already out the gate, like already have a match everybody was kind of looking for, and they're like, oh crap, because little did we know, and I think me and a lot of other people, that Miz and Bad Bunny match was actually better than we thought. They're like, holy crap, they could have
Yeah.
started with that, and then it could have been trash and been like, that's how you're gonna start Mania.
Did you notice the botch last night?
There was a lot of botches, a lot of people.
Well,
botched.
with the Mandy Rose
Oh, yeah, I got it.
yeah, twice.
Well, and there was
No.
yeah, she
The
slipped,
nip-
and then there was the
the
other,
nip
yeah,
slip.
the other slip. Yeah,
They were actually supposed to win the match.
that's horrible because they don't need to win.
I know that was horrible. They were supposed to win and then go on to lose next match, but because of nip slip, they reversed
Yeah,
it.
but Riot
Cover up.
Squad deserved to win until the very end when
Yeah.
Tamina and Valley come out. You're like, I can't be mad because I already know who's gonna win because
Yeah.
you can't take it away from Natty and
I mean,
Tamina. I mean, come on.
But when Tamina did the super splash,
Yeah, she
like-
overshot.
when she like that, I was like, that's cool.
Oh, she always does that, but she overshot a little bit, so her knees. Yeah, but it was good to see everybody. Everybody was having fun.
Yeah, it was
I
good to
felt
hear
like- I
the
felt like a
crowd.
fan again.
Yeah, it felt like it wasn't boring for
I
the
missed
first time
that.
in a year.
I missed that. I missed all that.
You. It's the energy. Now, this leads up to my next point. The energy from that crowd is the same kind of energy we felt at conventions as an artist and as creators. And Vince, your dad can vouch for this. The energy that we had from the crowd coming through that door, we fed off of that. Just like they fed off of it last night.
Yeah.
There's that passion and that love that you have for that industry
hmm
which led you to buying toys and being a collector.
Well, and that brings me
I
back
have
to like
I have
me
over
getting
200 elite wrestlers, so yeah, I'm
That's
pretty
see,
passionate about it.
I've always wanted to get into those, but it's like, where do you start with them? For a late collector, where do you start?
I started off with CM Punk, and I still have them in the package. And it was Elite Series. Oh hell, I can't remember.
Was it
It's,
two?
it's on the box. No. It's Best in the World shirt. It's the one with, and because I wanted that one, and I wanted the Kevin Nash and Diesel that came out the same wave.
Mm.
And I remember going to Toys R Us in Baytown and finding it. Not Baytown, Clear Lake. And I found the only CM Punk I wanted, or the only, at that time, I didn't know Kevin Nash was out too. I'm like, oh shit, Kevin Nash is out too. And he's one of my all-time favorites. So I'm like, well, I got to find those two as well. So I remember buying that, and then I found Stone Cold, and I found Brock Lesnar. And I had like 5 or 6, and I'm like, all right, that's all I'm gonna do.
Those collecting those figures though make newer fans go back and watch those old tapes.
Well, then now that you bring that up, I'm not happy with how that I'm going to say woke and I'm going to get in trouble, but they're now editing some of those old matches.
Peacock is doing it, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, why? Everybody knew what it was back then.
Yeah.
And, you're trying to judge something from the past by the standards of today.
yeah.
You can't do that.
And it's a disservice to the fans because when they want to go back and watch something, they're not getting the full
experience,
broadcast or the experience.
Right.
I was there, but they're missing half of it.
I heard a dad tell his kid he was gonna buy a Macho Man, the new one that was recently out. He goes, "Your dad, who is this?" He goes, "Macho Man." He goes, "Oh yeah, son." And he was like, "What are you talking about, Dad?" "Oh yeah." He goes, "Go look up Macho Man. You won't regret it. One of the greatest performers of all time." I'm like, to me, that's the epitome of passing your love for collecting or for a genre onto a younger generation. Because now that kid's gonna go on to the network and look up old matches, and that means that this genre will be around longer. It's like our figures that we're buying now are buying stuff from our past that will ensure that it's gonna be around for another 10 more years.
And that's a downside that it could disappear and then we don't ever see it again.
Because video games are now they're really kind of taken off, and you got the digital and stuff like that. So you may have kids that may never play with toys. It's all going to be virtual sandboxes that they play. I'm a game collector. I've always been a game collector. It's funny because I remember when my friends would come over and they'd be like, "Wow, this is a huge collection," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't." It's not like I really collect it. I just, I buy it, play it, and then I
remember Transformers loved video games.
Yeah.
This is great on PS5 though. Really is. So smooth.
So it's funny though, because when you're sometimes when you're younger, you don't think that you're collecting. It's just like you buy things that resonate with you and you're happy with, and it brings you joy, or may take you back to a different point in time where things may not have been so difficult. And with it's fun watching Edward grow up and experience things. He watches YouTube a lot, and I'm trying to corral some of the things he watches on there, because he'll watch other people play stuff and like, son, we either have the game they're playing and you go play it yourself. It's one thing if you're looking on there to find out how to do something you don't know how to do, you're trying to get past something, but yes, I know. I watch a lot of speedrunners do stuff, and because it's really cool to get to watch a guy beat a game that I've had difficulty playing when I was younger, and I beat it maybe once, and they're beating it like in 10 minutes. And it's cool to actually watch that stuff, because it's like, well, I can try that. I can do this little trick here. I didn't know you could even do this. You could break the game in a way that allows you to get through certain things that may be difficult for hours on end trying to get past. It's funny though, his transition into things, he was into Paw Patrol and stuff, but I've always tried to get him into like Ghostbusters and Star Wars and Transformers and GI Joe, and he loves playing with my stuff. But it's sad because you know Hasbro just released what, a year ago, the Kenner line for Ghostbusters.
Mm.
It's like, why isn't there I mean, yes, there is movie accurate figures out there that people can buy, but maybe the kids are like, they're too young and they think that some of the ghosts are scary. But watching the cartoon, it's a cartoon, so they don't have that same fear factor that they're watching. So why aren't you making toys for kids? Why, like a GI Joe? Why isn't there a 3.75 figure line for kids right now? There's the classic line, but it's not really for kids. Even though I've been buying it for Edward, but it's only like a limited thing. It's not like they're going to do.
Hold on. When your Snake Eyes came with an Uzi and a backpack, and then it comes with all this extra stuff now.
Yeah.
This is for the adult collector. This is not for kids. And I agree that they are gearing their molding towards us.
Yeah, nostalgia. It's like,
Yeah,
hey, I saw that. I remember this when I was a kid.
But again, there's nothing to drive that for children today.
Yeah, there's
the
no
only reason
for
why
it.
the kids are doing that is because they have a parent that does it, and they see that in their kids. Their
my kids got into GI Joe because of YouTube. Because now Hasbro released all the episodes on YouTube.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, they have a whole channel.
Except for the other one.
Yeah.
There's one that they haven't done yet.
Yeah, they haven't done the 90s stuff.
Yeah,
I've been waiting on that.
It's
but
all
it
the
hasn't come out yet.
I have
all
that
the
on
Deke
DVD.
and-
I'm glad I can watch it anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But guys, my voice is going, so
No.
I'm gonna wrap it up on my end. I'm sorry, I can't go to March training myself.
No, we can go ahead and end it. I'll wrap this up with like, what is one of your holy grail items that you, when you got it, you felt like it was like just such a relief that you were able to locate something?
I think we should do a part 2 of this because
I do too, because there's still
I
a lot
too.
that we
There's
didn't.
so much
go over.
There's so much we can
I
talk
never
about.
got to answer the first question.
I know.
My holy grail. I got 3 of them. Oh no, I'll get them right here.
I say I have 2. I'd say right now that I'm very.
I know one of yours, Josh.
What?
Your Piper.
Yep, my 25th anniversary Piper on card. It's one of my all-time. Never will sell. It will go with me probably literally to my grave because it's one of my all-time favorites, and it took me so long to get. I think the other one, honestly, might be this Kento because how long it took me to get them. Like, honestly, like I'm so happy to get them. I mean, when I fix them, I'm not gonna lie, I probably will be playing with them.
So,
Actually, put on the armors on all of them. I'm gonna be playing with all of them.
So I actually have 4 of them. I showed you that one Migo, rather than Robin.
The more he looks around, he's like, I got 5 of them. I got 6 of them.
No, well, no, I got this Robin right here from the
Classic Robin.
yeah. And then I have the Nightwing with it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But I also have this one right here. And there's actually a story behind this one. So December 2019.
I have another one.
This one.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't see it.
It's the from Rogue One.
Donnie Yen's character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now, when I was in a hospital for my stroke, and they had a bleed on my brain, they were talking about drilling a hole in the back of my brain, and I couldn't move my fingers or my toes. I kept saying, I am one of the force in me. And I kept reciting that. I kept saying it over and over and over again. Because for some reason, that's the only thing I could say. I was like, I'm one of the force in me. And then I started doing this. And I started moving my toes. And they were telling my wife that I would never walk again, that I'd be in a wheelchair for 6 months. And then within 2 weeks, I stood up and started walking again.
Awesome.
They had to drill a hole in the back of my head to relieve the pressure on my brain. So when this was actually sent to me by a collector, he was like, I'll send it to you for free. So this figure alone, I could be buried with this figure because this got me through my darkest day. when I thought I was gonna die. So yeah, I mean, but Robin, because as a kid, I dressed up as Robin as a kid, and this because I said, help me get through my dark day. But besides that, I don't like toys. I'm an adult. I don't like toys. Nerds.
Also, I forgot my Afro Samurai collection in my closet that I can't display because four of them are mint on card. I need to get protective covers for them because they're too damn expensive. Because I have the only four, not the only four, but the four they made, and then I have the two con ones that I have the box set from FYE. And I looked them up on eBay, and Jesus Christ, they're worth so much. So I don't even display them. They're worth so much. It's not because they're worth so much. It's just I don't want something to happen to them, and I have to replace them. Right. So it scares the shit out of me. But I'm a big Afro Samurai fan, so yes, that's my other grails. I don't know if they count as one in whole or 6 pieces, but yeah, they're them. They're in the closet, put up on the shelf where nobody knows where they are, and yeah.
I don't think, in my personal opinion, I don't think a grail piece is something that's value. Like it doesn't have to have a lot of value. It's something that has value.
No, I honestly love Afro Samurai.
Well, no, so that because
like I love the way he looks.
No, I'm saying your grail figures that they had to be something to you. They don't have to be monetarily value to you. They don't have to have dollar value.
Oh, I mean, I have a bunch of figures that people have given me that I'll never sell either.
Yeah.
I classify them as non-sellable, gifts.
Yeah.
I guess I should call them grails, but to me, I'm like, no, I'm never gonna get rid of them. Like, I'll get rid of everything else but them, and I'll make a whole shelf of all the ones that people have given me and the notes. I keep all the notes people have ever given me. Hey man, I heard you're down on your luck. I have a custom. What's the plane the Rattler's based off of?
Oh, the
A10.
Yeah, A10. Warthog. Yeah.
So I've got a custom A10 Warthog painted like a G.I. Joe Rattler that a buddy gave me when my dad was going through his heart attack. And I have it on a folding table with my terror drone on top. It's tied up underneath it, flying. And I'll never get rid of it because my buddy PJ made it for me, and it's beautiful. He did a hell of a job. It's huge.
This is one I'll never get rid of right here. It's my Jetfire.
Jetfire.
The reason is I actually when I was in the Air Force, I actually had a chance to guard this. Or had a chance.
SR-71.
Yeah, I actually had a chance to guard the butt.
I don't care what Vince says. I love Jetfire in that movie.
Yeah, me too.
Jetfire and his Walking King.
Walking King, yeah.
It's my dad now.
Not funny.
Crossed with Ray. Dad, go ahead and do yours and I'll tell mine.
No, you do yours.
All right.
I can't figure out which ones are mine.
So for me, the Holy Grail item, as far as a toy and something like that, it was going to be 2, and it's going to be 1, the Billy figure from the collector series for Cobra Commander Sun. And I don't care how much it cost, but I love the Marvel series, and my dad got me into G.I. Joe besides watching the cartoon. And I love the Marvel run, and that is the definitive G.I. Joe story. And
I opened up all of mine except for him. He's still up on the wall. I can't because
he's not open either. And it's not.
If I could find him loose, I would buy him, but I'm not going to be the asshole that undoes
takes it away from somebody else to be able to have it. Yeah,
somebody else might get it one day.
I'm looking at this. I can't wait to see the day that they actually do him in a classified line.
Yeah, but
and
I will say this real quick, that if the Snake Eyes movie does bomb, I can see Hasbro stop making classified.
Start making movies. Yeah,
it's the whole line. Oh my God, we made a mistake.
It's not a viable thing. It's not viable. That's what they're going to say.
Yeah.
All they're going to do is
and I said that earlier, that if the movie flops, the classified line is probably going to suffer.
Yes,
because on Friday, the only thing they unveiled on Friday were the G.I. Joe the movie. They didn't unveil anything new for the actual classified line.
No,
which they should have.
Well, we're supposed to get Major Blood now.
Yes, yeah. So the other thing that I have is the Matchbox SDF-1 from Robotech, and
that's cool.
there's a funny story about this because for one, Macross was, Robotech is a series that I watched all the way through with my dad. It's the one series that I will always remember because of my dad. And I will remember our great times talking about it, making stuff out of Play-Doh, drawing the characters, playing, role playing for it. The funny thing about this figure though is that Christmas one year, I it was wrapped under the tree and it had my name on it, not my dad's. And it was actually for my dad. And it was hilarious because my grandmother goes, "Oh, wait, no, that's not for you. That's for your dad." I'm like, but that year I did get the untransformable Veritech with Rick.
Don't let him fool you. He ended up getting the figure from me anyway.
He did give it to me. He did, and that's not
you
not
do
trying to.
you do know they're about to relaunch that line again.
Oh yeah, we saw that, and which brings
Because
this
now Robotech and Macross are one.
one. Which go ahead now, tell the story that relates to what Josh had said.
And I do want to do a whole episode on this. And if you guys are Robotech fans, I highly ask people and Macross to stay tuned for when we do that episode. But I was driving home. Okay, I love transformable mecha. From like Tranzor Z to Voltron to Macross to Robotech to Gundam.
That's why I can't get into Beast Wars. Because why would a robot turn into a beast and not a vehicle?
Yeah.
Come on.
My biggest thing is that it's really hard as being a fan of that series, and I'm more now on a fan of the Macross stuff. To collect for it, the toys at the import cost are expensive. I mean, like you're looking at maybe 150 on the low end, and you're looking at a 172 scale version of the ship to a much larger figure that's maybe 10 to 12 inches long in fighter mode and then 10 inches tall when it's in Batroid or Battleoid. From like 150 to you're looking at $600, and it's just because of the import cost. And of course they're premium figures, die cast. The transformation is, and they're only producing enough for the market of Japan. They're not, it's you could get it through other means, but it's too expensive. So now with what's going on, there's a possibility that I could probably get some of the things that I've wanted for toys to be manufactured by US companies and not have to pay that big amount because the molds are already there. Now, but what's funny was we were driving home. I was driving home talking to my dad like I normally do. And I was complaining about the fact that so my favorite Valkyrie from the Macross series is the YF-19, or they did a newer version of it with the VF-29 from Frontier, which is actually piloted by Isamu Dyson, which was the person who voiced him in the series when it got released dubbed here by Manga Studios was Bryan Cranston. I want one of those figures. I have one from the Yamada series line, but I want one of the newer ones because the articulation on that one was okay, but as you mess with it and move it, it just kind of becomes really loose. These are a lot more tighter. The designs will handle it better. But I was just complaining on the fact that like I'll never get the Macross stuff here. I'll never be able to show Edward unless I bootleg it or download it somewhere or import it, and the cost of the DVDs and the music is just, or the Blu-rays are super expensive. It'll never be. And I've always hated the fact that Harmony Gold and Big West and them could not figure out what to do, and they were blocking the release of this other source material that's out there that fans want. And it was hilarious. So I pull in at the house and we're talking about it, and I'm scrolling through my Facebook, and I see the announcement that Big West and Harmony Gold had finally had a legal agreement to expand and release some of the stories from this series, and I'm like, I'm just talking about this, not complaining.
Now, if you actually look at the figures that came out in the 80s, they were so beyond what they should have been. They were 10 years ahead of its time. They were so well built back then. They could hold up. The engineering can hold up to today.
There were two forms. There was the one for the action figures and the that you could fit into the ships. You could put because he has all mine. The Zentradi, the who were the other bad guys from
The Envid
original,
from,
the Envid. He has all those. I don't think he has many of the figures, but he has the ships. And I remember playing with him on the floor with these, you know. But then there was that more adult or more advanced. They were die cast parts with plastic. That they were tight. You could transform them into all three shapes. Not only did they have the stuff from Robotech, the Masfuda side of it,
just
they
the
had
next generation.
what was the one they did? They didn't have a whole lot of the middle
For
one,
the Southern Cross.
Southern Cross. But you either had, there was a lot of stuff for the first saga and the third saga. And I loved those.
There was some of the first ones I recall as a kid with die-cast parts in them that stood up to time. That they just didn't break. I mean, they were just beautiful. And I'm excited to see that over the next year if they're going to start producing those again.
Yeah, that's what I'm really hoping for. But that's we'll get more into this in another episode, just as much as we'll continue this going on. But Dad, we'll let you finish up with what you're.
I don't know. I've had so many things that I've either given away or they got stolen or lost in moves.
Well, something you still have, dummy.
Well, yeah, he knows.
Yes, I know that. But there are figures like I had all the Jason and Wheel Warriors. I don't have any of those anymore. I had all the Maspuda bikes, including the figures, and they transformed. And I had both versions, the big ones that were better shaped, and then the tiny ones that were a little bit more flimsy and stuff.
Battle Beast.
Oh man, I had
that's a whole
don't
story
even
too.
that's another story. Oh, to its own.
But
hey, you know what? That's one Shadow.
I'll say I'll say a couple things that I think that would be your holy grails. One is your Tron cycle.
I would like to have that set back again. Yeah.
But your Ray Harryhausen figures, the statues, the ones
that was one thing I was going to say, because I started the Ray Harryhausen collection, which are their statues, and they were limited runs. I was picking them up pretty regularly, and then all of a sudden people wouldn't order them for me. They became very hard to get, and then they were discontinued. And now they're slowly doing them again, but they're coming out at $200 and $300. And I paid $29 for them the most when they first came out. And I've had to repair them because I've got the Hydra with the golden fleece and the tree. I've got the worm from First Men in the Moon. I've got the skeleton warrior from the Sinbad and the Golden Voyage. I've got the giant guy from Jason and the Argonauts, the Talos. And one of the ones I had ordered was the Cyclops. That was the one where I knew I was going to start having trouble because I kept asking, has it come in yet? Has it come in yet? And they said no. And then they said, we're not going to be able to get it for you. Same thing happened with my chess set for Godzilla. I have Rodan. I have 3 of the versions of Godzilla that they did, and there's a ton more. I used to have the Mothra that fell and broke, and it was just broke beyond repair. And I wanted the Anguirus. These were a massive chess set, and they were releasing them 2 at a time. And then all of a sudden, they never completed it. And it drove me nuts. I guess those 2 you could say would be
Yeah.
I would love to have them completed.
And we'll get more into it because there's a lot. Like, I want to get into the whole thing of like, maybe some of your favorite things that you've lost, or the pieces you regret having to let go, stuff like that, where there's just a whole other situation. I mean, other topics that we can go into for this, but
Yeah, like because this one's more like why we collect, why what are our love is about it.
3 of you.
Let him finish the first question.
let them fight.
Josh
wait,
is
no.
using the dark force on me, trying to choke me out here.
My
Let
bad.
him answer the first question at least, so we can finish.
Go ahead, Josh.
I was just making a joke. Like,
Oh well, we've come back to you now.
Now
You
it's
have
like
to answer.
I'm on
You have to
spotlight.
answer.
I'm nervous.
You're like no, I'm done.
I like turtles.
Are you
No, I
looking at
just,
turtles and you like them?
Well, I'm looking at my turtles, yeah. No. No, for me, just trying to make this quick. Raised in the 80s, obviously. You get McDonald's toys and play with them, cool, and then my fondest memories go back to G.I. Joe, 3 1/4. Going to stores and spending $2.99 on buying a Joe, and I clipped up the little card back, the little pictures on the back, and made them like cards, and I'd always hand my mom or my dad a card like, "Hey, I want this Joe," and then I'd give back another Joe that I didn't want, but I kind of wanted, but it's whatever. My birth mom was heavy in the drugs, so prescription pills, and she would pop them and end up taking my toys and send them to garage sales. So I'd stop collecting Joes, go to other toy lines, and she'd take them too. And then my grandmother would take me garage selling in Chicago because that's where my family's from, and I'd get all this massive. I'd get the General, the Rolling Thunder, whole load of Joes, and take them home, and then my mom would sell them again. So then I try to get out of Joes, and my love has never stopped. I get into, let's say some wrestling stuff and some Transformers. Then she takes them away. So I promised myself when I became older and could make money, I'll get whatever the fuck I wanted, and ain't nobody gonna take it away from me.
Hell yeah.
That's French for everybody.
So, hey Josh, I got a question directly for you.
Yeah.
I see your poster behind you. Your G.I. Joe.
Well, that's the blanket.
Space shuttle. The blanket, okay. But I see your Captain America right next to it. Do you with Captain America, them being now on the same scale, figure wise, would you incorporate your Captain America into your joke? Do you?
I do. He's somewhere in my collection.
See, I'm
somewhere.
doing the same thing. I'm doing the same thing. I was like, Steve Rogers needs to be in the G.I. Joes.
Yeah. I have the Shield outfit one as well. He's up there mixed in somewhere. But I've always been a big Captain America fan, so that was, I think that did. If I really think about it, it might have been why I liked him too. But also just I've always had a love for Captain America, but I've never stopped loving Joe's because when they re-released them, the 25th line, I went crazy. I bought 2 of each and never looked back. And
I'll send you some of my G.I. Joe work I did lately.
Okay, yeah,
But
I like that. But for next time, I'll try to get it cleaned up. But my whole living room and dining room is full of G.I. Joes.
It's awesome. So here's a question for you guys for next time. If you could intertwine a few toy lines, who would they be and why? That's for next time.
Okay. All right, everyone. We're gonna wrap up the podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. So tell us what your favorite memories about toy collecting and the things that you hate, and leave us comments down below. And then if you have a topic you want us to talk about, let us know. All right, until next time, have a good one.
Don't forget to click that like.